So I'm going to play devil's advocate here a little bit. Now, the driver, was he basically banned from using Lyft after that?
I don't know what happened to the driver. I'm pretty sure he still has his job because I didn't reach out to Lyft. I didn't tell on the driver. So a lot of people were saying you got him fired and stuff like that. And that's not the case. That's people making stuff up. So, I don't know what happened to him. I hope that he is still doing what he was doing before he met me. I wish nothing but the best for him,
Okay. I actually looked it up, and I guess the driver is still working for Lyft.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good thing.
He is.
I guess the question I'm asking is this. Like, when you work for Lyft or Uber or Postmates or whatever else, you are an independent contractor. You're not actually an employee of Lyft. So as an independent contractor, Lyft is not responsible for what it is that you do. It's not like Lyft turned you down. This driver turned you down. Lyft had nothing to do with this particular situation. So why are you suing Lyft and not the driver?
Because they allowed him to drive for them in their services.
They allow everyone to drive who has a proper car and a driver's license.
Yeah, but as you see, his car, I don't know, he was complaining. He was complaining about everything. So he was complaining about me. He was complaining about his car. So,
Right, but Lyft is not complaining. Lyft is actually on your side and is going to make it right according to these messages, and they had nothing to do with this. Like, for example, I have employees. Now, if I have an employee and my employee does something, then I'm responsible for it. But if I have an independent contractor that's just doing stuff for Vlad TV and they do something crazy, that's really out of my hands. Mm-hmm. They are on their own. Mm-hmm. So it seems to me that you should be suing the driver and not Lyft, because I don't know what Lyft really has to do with it. Now, they may settle based on bad publicity and so forth, but to me, it doesn't really appear like Lyft is really responsible for your situation. I'm not happy about your situation. I think it's unfortunate. But at the end of the day, I just feel like this is a driver problem, not a Lyft problem.
Thank you for your support and opinion.
Okay, fair enough. Now, with the whole car situation, I mean, this was what, like a Mercedes 250 or something like that, like a relatively small Mercedes?
What was it? It was a Benz. Yeah.
Right, but it wasn't like a G-Wagon or an SUV or anything else like that. Now, the driver seemed actually concerned that, that something might happen to his car. Mm-hmm. And it's not like, this is not, when you look at this Lyft driver, this is not like this is not like Lyft Black, which has like the high-end cars and everything else like that. It's Uber Black. I guess Lyft has probably something similar. Mm-hmm. So it's not a huge car. This guy is not rich. He has a relatively entry-level car. He's probably scraping by. And from what I saw, from his point of view, I think he was actually concerned about something potentially happening to his car. Mm-hmm. Can you see his side of the story as well?
I see my side, because if it was like 5 girls that added up to my weight, he would still allow them in his car, and I didn't reach the car's capacity.
Well, probably not 5 girls. It's a small Benz. 3 girls, maybe 4.
I don't know, like 4 and 1 in the front seat.
1 in the front 5. Seat, maybe 3 in the back, so 4.
Yeah, I feel like 4 in the back, 1 in the front.
Mm-hmm. Right, but when the weight is at one side, that potentially could damage the car. I'm just, I like to just address both sides, because from his point of view, it didn't seem like he was trying to be mean. He wasn't calling you names. He wasn't, insulting you. I think he was concerned about, if you're driving Lyft, that means that you don't really have a lot of money and you're, driving on the side in order to, make some extra money to pay your bills and so forth. I think it's fair to look at both sides of the situation. You see what I'm saying? Like you're here, you're telling your side. He's not here to tell his side. So I'm trying to keep a balanced conversation. Mm-hmm. And at the end, what I feel is, I think he was concerned because he has a little side gig, that his side gig might get affected, because if something does, and this is what I'm saying between employee and contractor. If he was an employee for Lyft, then Lyft would own that car. So if something happened, he would go to Lyft and say, hey, listen, I have a problem with my car, go fix it. Like, for example, if you work for a taxi company or so forth. But with Lyft, you own your own car. If you're taking someone on a ride, and let's just say the person smashes out your window, Lyft has nothing to do with this. That's on you. So, you know, I feel like, you know, on his side that he actually, you know, I think he was just trying to protect his own business at that time. Now, unfortunately, I don't like the way it turned out, but I think that I don't think there was any sort of bad intentions on his end.
Okay. Nobody is used to like big people being out. You know, like you have to be prepared for us as well. You know, like it's probably not normal to the world to see people like me like doing things, requesting lifts and, you know, and stuff like that. So I just feel like people need to prepare for us and, you know, expect us. We here.
Listen, I think it's great that you're out. And I think you're very brave for what you're doing and putting yourself out there. I saw you on The Breakfast Club. You know, I've seen you perform, you put out music. I think it's wonderful what you're doing. And I think you're setting an example for a lot of people because not everybody weighs 90 pounds. You know what I'm saying? When you look throughout the world, people have all different, you know, weights and so forth. I think a lot of people admire you, and I think you're going to influence a lot of people to get out the house and do more things, and, you know, girls to do their makeup and their hair and get fly and put on some buffs and everything else like that because you're from Detroit. But, you know, but at the end of the day, you have those rights, but you also have to work around other people's situations as well. Like, so for example, when you fly, certain airlines give you an extra seat.
I fly Southwest. They give me a free seat. They give anybody my size a free extra seat.
Okay. And Delta as well?
The last time I drove Delta, I drove first class and I had my own seat and I was fine.
Okay.
I didn't need an extra seat.
Okay. Yeah, well, first class is, yeah.
Yeah.
So from your point of view, do you think it's fair that an airline gives you an extra seat that you ultimately didn't pay for, or should they be charging you for that extra seat?
I feel like it's fair.
Why is that?
It just is. Like, if that's them, if they want to give their customers a free seat because of how big they are, then thank you. I appreciate it.
No, I think it's a nice gesture.
Yeah.
You know, but you could look at it both ways. You could look at it as, well, it's a full flight and they could have sold that seat to someone else, but ultimately they give you a free seat. And I think they're doing it to send a positive message. But from a business point of view, they're ultimately losing a little bit of money as well.
That's them. You know, that's what they want to do. You know, I'm pretty sure they can regulate if they have like a full flight, you know. So, yeah.